I didn't have this one on my bingo card. Think about it. Sony actually helping Microsoft? That is wacky. And I'm going to get into exactly what they did and why it was actually a smart thing to do, as well as a thing that actually helps out Microsoft in an incredible way. This is what I'm talking about. Like, listen, these companies are going to have to continue to work together for a very, very long time. Regardless of what anybody else thinks, this is just the fact of the matter. We have to realize that Sony, Microsoft, these companies work together in the past. They're going to have to work together in the present. They're going to have to work together in the future. Now, I don't know for sure, like, if it's this way on the PlayStation version, but I've been playing Street Fighter 6 on Xbox Series X. Again, thank you, Xbox Rewards. If you guys didn't know about that, you should definitely look into it. But I bought Diablo 4, the Ultimate Edition or whatever, so that I could play early. I had a bunch of other credits on there, enough to actually buy Street Fighter 6. They cost me nothing, literally free. And I've been playing it. Great game. Diablo 4, great game. But again, when you start up Street Fighter 6, it says PlayFab Microsoft Azure. So they're using the Microsoft Azure, things using the Havoc engine, that's Microsoft. Like, there's just games and things that are going to use that, and Sony is going to have to get used to it. If this deal goes through that Microsoft's talking about with Activision, then guess what? That's going to have to go through as well. We're just going to have to see these things happen. Like, they're going to have to work together. They're going to have to put on their big boy pants. And this is exactly why. Let's go ahead and get into it, should we? Sony's CEO themselves warns that technical issues still remain for cloud gaming. But he does say that they want to take on the challenges. This is a stark contrast to what they've actually said previously. But this could actually help them in the fight to get the Activision deal to move ahead very much so. Again, Microsoft is already meeting with the CAT. But anyway, in an interview with the Financial Times, Yoshida mentioned that Sony would look to various options in the future for streaming PlayStation titles over the internet. I think cloud itself is an amazing business model, but when it comes to the games, the technical difficulties are high, citing latency, which refers to the time it takes for the action input on the controller to be reflected on screen, as the biggest issues. So there will be challenges to cloud gaming, but we want to take on those challenges. He also highlighted that due to the fluctuating popularity of gaming during the day, for example, a high number of players all logging on when they finish work, it's financially inefficient to run when there are few players, but that conversely, a high number of players logging on at the same time could lead to issues in performance. And I'll give you guys a good example of this, right? As you all know, I've had notoriously bad internet almost my whole life, right? I guess it's just like living kind of out in the more secluded areas or what have you. I finally got Starlink, and most of the time I run 150 megabytes down, which is, you might go, well, that's not very good. I got a kajillion down. You know what I mean? Listen, when my average download speed used to be 5 to 7 megabytes per second, and I'm now downloading at 150 megabytes per second, it's a huge difference. My upload speed was 0.5. Not 1, 0.5 was my upload speed. Now my upload speed is usually 10 to 15, sometimes even 20 megabits per second. I can upload a video to YouTube in 10 minutes now, what used to take me 2 hours to do. That's not an exaggeration, right? And not only that, but when my videos were uploading previously, nobody could be on the internet. So for those 2 hours that my videos were uploading, nobody in the house could be on the internet or watch a movie or anything, or play a game. You just couldn't do it. So now I have pretty decent internet. But the interesting thing is, around 9 p.m. Eastern time, the internet starts to bog down a little bit, because that's when people start to get on the internet, like the average person, maybe not even the gamers, but the average person, doing this or that or the other thing, and my internet will drop, and you can tell that it drops because some shows will buffer and things like that. So I can imagine that's what they're talking about. Now, referring to the quiet periods as the dark time, Yoshida said, quote, "The dark time for cloud gaming has been an issue for Microsoft as well as Google, but it was meaningful that we were able to use those quieter hours for AI learning." Now, PlayStation has aggressive plans for the cloud gaming space, according to PlayStation boss Jim Ryan, the details of which he claims will be revealed over the coming months. He said, We observe that mobility and gaming habits to an increasingly important trend, and the cloud will be fundamental to allowing us, or indeed anybody else, to exploit that trend. We do have some fairly interesting and quite aggressive plans to accelerate our initiatives in the space of the cloud that will unfold the course over the coming months. PlayStation has experimented with cloud features over the last decade, with this PlayStation Now service now rolled into PlayStation Plus, representing one of the early pioneers of the space. Cloud gaming currently represents a small percentage of global games, but is viewed as a potential disruptor for the future. Notably, regulators have been scrutinizing Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard over its potential to give the Xbox maker an advantage in the emergent space, which they fear could represent a monopoly should the cloud become a dominant in the future. Now listen, cloud becoming dominant in the future is kind of an oxymoron. Like, I don't really foresee a way that that could ever be the thing. And, you know, again, that's just me being honest about it, because we've had cloud fail and come back and fail and fail and fail. Like, all these versions of cloud gaming continue to fail, and we still have all these issues where people think that it's going to be something special. You know, I honestly don't think that it is ever going to be something special. I get it, like, people might have a kajillion download speed, but it's always going to have the latency issues, because latency exists where you're not playing locally or on site. And I've always compared it to this, because this is the best comparison I can give. I have been able to stream a 4K movie with my internet right now, right? Depending on the time, but I've been able to do it, and it looks good. It looks okay. But when I watch a 4K Blu-ray movie, it looks about 1,000,000 times better, and that's just me being completely honest about it. It looks so much better. It's not compressed. There's all the compression that these companies have to use for streaming anything. There's the latency when you're trying to move. I've used xCloud at various times of the day, and it always looks... I've used it on my console. I was streaming Gears of War 3, believe it or not, and it was very input lag. There was a lot of input lag to it, and then it started to pixelate a little bit, and then finally I wasn't able to play it anymore. So yeah, I don't think it's ever going to get to the point. I've been hearing already for over 15 years that this would be the future, and it hasn't been. Every time some startup comes along, they close down. You know, I just think that, you know, like, the people that love PC, or the hardcore PC gamers, they like PC because they like having that great custom hardware that you can do stuff with. Console gamers are the same way. There might be some casuals that'll be like, sure, I'll try it on, you know, this or this, but if you're really into gaming, I don't understand why you would play a much lesser way, you know, especially that's conductive only to you having super strong internet 24/7. Right? And then even then, you're going to be at a disadvantage against anybody in... you would be at a disadvantage to anybody in that's running locally off the hardware, because there's not at that input lag. You know what I mean? You know, it's just one of those things that I kind of look at and go, hey, you know, it's kind of crazy to see this, you know. But again, we'll see what happens. I think that it's smart that the CAT are looking at this and going, hey, you know, this is definitely something that we need to look into. All these 40 other places agreed to this, and we're the only suckers not. And Microsoft could potentially pull another tech thing out of the UK. Like, I think this is getting passed. I'm like more positive now than I had been recently, but I think this is definitely going to be one of those things that's up there, and it should be. You know, it should be. Let me know what y'all think. I'm going to link this. Let me know what you think. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.